See, every night we had to have a password, just like Chesterfield and Campbell. They had to have a C in it, because the Japanese couldn't say C's. They would. It didn't sound right. And I had just about night, and I had to go manually take it to them, because you couldn't holler it across the field. Take to each platoon, give them the password for that night. And it was just about dark. And at dark, you don't move unless you want to get shot. So I was out here on a point, and I didn't want to go way back around here. It had been dark time I got there, so I just took a beeline right across the little gully. Next morning, I woke up, and there was at least 100 or 150 mines with little silver points sticking up out of the ground with wires tied between some of them. So if you hit one, you'd blow up two. I'd run right through the middle of it and hadn't hit a thing.
By the spring of 1945, the United States and Japan had been at war for 3 long years. The once mighty Japanese empire was being destroyed by the Americans. The two countries would face off in an epic battle on a small island called Okinawa. Okinawa, considered home territory by the Japanese, would be the last battle of World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, millions of young Americans answered the call to service for their country. One of those young men was Edgar Parker from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Known by everyone as Punch, Parker would go on to endure what one Marine would later describe as the most ghastly corner of hell I have ever witnessed. This is his story. Parker grew up in the depths of the Great Depression. He worked in the family general store and at their meatpacking business. In the summer of 1943, he received a draft notice. After being judged to be in excellent condition following a physical, Parker was given the branch of service of choice.
I chose the Marine Corps because I felt like it was one of the most respected and the toughest outfit they had at the time. Me and 2 other guys from Little City chose the Marine Corps, went together, went to boot camp together.
After graduating from boot camp, Punch would receive advanced infantry training and also attend field music school to become a company bugler.
I was in the Central High School band, but guess what? I beat the drum. They put me in the blowing the bugle. They had to teach me how, because I didn't know how. Completed the training. They sent me to Camp de June, and there we were put into 29th Regiment, and just as soon as we formed the regiment, they sent us overseas to Guadalcanal. Pollywog before you got there, and if you lived through it, you were a shellback. That was quite an experience. Everybody climbing, crawling around. They'd make you crawl on your hands and knees, because there was about 4,000 of us. And you only had your underdrawers on, just the bottom part of your underwear. And they were shooting water on the deck to keep it warm, keep it cool. Every now and then somebody would slap a hot wire on you and knock it down, you know, to shock you. And a lot of people had clippers. They'd cut your hair, you know, take all punks out of your hair. And then you'd end up with old King Neptune sitting on the throne in front of a big pool of water, and they would throw you in the water, and he'd come up, and you'd go up to him, and he'd squirt some kind of mess in your mouth. It's the bitterest stuff I ever tasted in my life. And then they'd take you and throw you out on the other side.
Once he arrived on Guadalcanal, Punch Parker and his fellow Marines would undergo 7 months of training in the brutal tropical heat.
Well, some mornings we would get up at 1 o'clock and march, hike 25 miles, and then play war for the rest of the day, and then come back late that evening. So we had to do our hiking in the early morning, because by the middle of the day it was 110 in the shade every day, right sticky hot. Had to blow all the bugle calls for everything they did. I woke them up in the morning, called them out to chow, called them an assembly when they had to gather them up. And then in the afternoon, you put the flag up in the morning, the flag down in the afternoon, and then, of course, at night you lay taps and put them to bed.
By March of 1945, Marines of the 6th Division had completed training and were preparing for the invasion of Okinawa. Okinawa was chosen for invasion due to its proximity to Japan, to secure a staging area for the invasion of the home islands, and to create a massive airbase to bomb Japan.